it's more important the person you're working for rather than the company that you're working in. The manager, who is really good, because that good person is going to go off and do good things no matter what. And it's the manager that you're working with, the person you're directly reporting to, is probably more important than the company. A long time ago, about 10 years ago, I came up with a basic philosophy of investment, which is I'm looking for a rising tide. I'm looking for the best boat in that rising tide, the company, and then I'm looking for the best captain of that boat in that rising tide. So it's the founder.
So what do you think are the best qualities of, I guess, someone learning from anyone, like a mentor?
Pay attention and ask questions.
Okay.
That's really are you actually paying attention? And are you asking, do you understanding the why? So you can watch somebody do something, but why do they do it? And when is the right time to do it? That's what I always I'm very, very inquisitive. I want to know everything. I want to figure out the entire model of what's going on, or the start to finish, and then reverse engineer it. And can we make it more efficient? They're always the best people who think like that. The people who really want to understand the whole picture. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean by student mentality. Business is all about problem solving, right? And when you're a founder of a startup, basically you're a one-man band. You're trying to keep your costs down to a minimum, so you're trying to do as much as for free as you possibly can. And the more things you can figure out yourself, then the less you have to pay somebody else to figure it out for you. So yes, you want to be a problem solver as a founder, and you want to be able to just get in and get stuff done. What doesn't work is focusing on an exit and how much money you're going to make and all these kind of things.
Yep.
Because that's what everybody, they try and extrapolate how much they're going to sell the business for before they even start. They're thinking of all these exits before they even start. And I find the people that do the best are the people that just really enjoy that particular field that they're in, and they'll do it for free. Because you may be working for free for quite a long time when you're doing a startup. Finding the wrong partners, the relationships are so important. Yep. There's going to be, it's like a marriage, right? There's going to be disagreements and whatever. And, the relationship between those two people has got to be more important than any one individual battle. Like the war of getting it to the point you want to get it to, whatever that is more important than any one individual disagreement. What works? Passion, hard work, realizing, like Winston Churchill said, that, success is going from failure to failure without any loss of enthusiasm.
Yes.
That kind of thing. That is what business is like. And, in our world, we say every no brings you closer to a yes. The more shit you take, the more money you make. It's generally the way I see it, because, that's it in business. What is it? Why do some people get to this level and some people only get to this level? Because everybody's going to stop pushing at some point. So some people might stop pushing at step 10. Some people will stop pushing at step 20. The further you go along, more and more people will drop off. And so if you want to be the person to go from step 1 to step, from A to Z, I guess, or from 1 to 100, there's 99 other places where you could have quit, you could have stopped, you could have given up, that you didn't, where the other 99 people did.
Favorite country?
Oh, favorite country, right, for business?
Oh, okay, business. Overall, and then personal.
I was fascinated by Israel, by Tel Aviv.
Right.
Fascinated. If you look at all the stats on Israel of how many new industries and new technologies, and they're this tiny little country that's only 70 years old or something like this. And it's very controversial with Israel and Palestine and the Arab states and whatever. But I was there for 10 days and I got to meet a guy named Ephraim who had built a 50-meter wingspan drone that stays up for 360 days. The only reason solar powered, 50-meter wingspan. It's he asked me to go raise him $20 million to go and make it fully commercial. So Google, Facebook, all these companies have been trying to do this for a long time, and the longest one was up for 30 days. He's built one that stays up for 360 days. The only reason it has to come down is to change the batteries. and he just met me in Jerusalem. And yeah, we had a really interesting talk. And that whole drone situation is because what they're using it for is to put 5G or whatever to remote places. So if you have that fly around Africa or whatever, it gives more people internet.
Yep.
And that's why Facebook want them. That's what Google wants for them, because then they're getting more users and these kind of things. That kind of stuff, there's so many different startups in so many different areas. I think Israel, because they're always under threat, everyone goes through military service, they have a lot of fun and they're not wasting any time. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that environment. I love America for that entrepreneurial sort of thing. Let's get things done. Let's make a deal. Being back in Australia has actually been very frustrating for me, because we're very, very frustrating in business because it's so conservative. There's, a lot of duopolies and quadrupolies. There's a very small amount of big people in big businesses in each industry. And then, everything else is, it's very comfortable here. It's very safe. It's very whatever. It's not as entrepreneurial as I would like it to be personally. Okay. If there's anything cool anywhere, Dubai will buy it,
Yeah.
They have so much oil money, and, the Louvre went to, one of those Arab countries. The first fire people, they got jetpacks, and they're, having people hose things out with drones for fire stuff. Their schools and universities and their medical centers, they're very rapidly trying to catch up to the West with all these institutions. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I've been all through those places a whole bunch of times, and it's fascinating. I wouldn't want to live there personally, too hot for me.
Okay.
And I don't like the restrictions on women. But definitely anything cool, the UAE will buy it off you for sure.
All right.
I really did like Scandinavia. I spent a lot of time in Denmark, and I had a New Year's. That was an interesting story, actually. So I was out in London, get to the plane the next morning. I was late, and Bear Grylls, Bear Grylls?
I've heard of it.
Where
did I hear it from?
Bear Grylls is the SAS adventure guy that, does all the TV shows.
Yes. So
him and his partner and him and his wife and his 3 kids were on the same plane, and he switched seats and sat with me for 2 hours.
Oh,
and
nice.
We go, we happen to be staying at the same hotel, so I see him at breakfast the next morning. I've given him an electronic cigarette. That was another company, another industry that I've been heavily involved in over the last 11 years, is that electronic cigarette world. I saw one of my friends build and sell one of those companies for $250 million in the UK. And we've been involved with the only legal electronic cigarette here in Australia. And that's another one that's using technology for the betterment of society. The stats on how many people die young from smoking is really bad, especially how much it costs here in Australia. And so for me to be involved in getting more people off cigarettes has been a passion of mine as well. A personal country, it's so many. Poland, Scandinavia, Israel, the US. I love Australia. I have a 1-year-old daughter now, and so that is, we would definitely like, my partner and I would definitely like Gracie to go through school and everything through here, but who knows, we'll see. How did music help me become better in sales and business? And I think it is both. Well, there's lots of studies that say people who are good at music are very good at mathematics as well. I've always been very fascinated with mathematics. And I think there's a lot of numbers in business, and music is about patterns. Music is about harmony. Music is about rhythm. And, I look at they call them organizations, right? Now, what's the etymology of an organization? It's an organism. And an organism has lots of different, things that will have to work in harmony, just like our human body. And that's the way I look at a company. It's an organization of people that should be working together for a common goal. Same musicians, same piece of music in front of them. If the conductor is doing a good job and everyone's paying attention, it's amazing. And if they're not, it's a car crash. And I think that's the same in business. Many ways.
So, who among the great composers would you be as a businessman?
Come on.
Mozart.
Still working. You know, most classical composers were poor until they died.
Yeah.
And then they become famous. They're like,
Okay, let's not go down that way.
this is out of tune. This is an out of tune guitar. Can play some Jewish stuff.
Okay.
I'm not Jewish, but I think I should have been born Jewish.
Yeah.
I do love the Jewish community. They do their Shabbat dinners every Friday night. They're very much intergenerational families. They teach their children about business and money and you know how to have discipline, but also you know have the community thing. I do have an affinity for the Jewish people. This is sure, but I was raised Catholic.
Hey everyone, thanks for hanging with us on the Convo couch, and thank you to Tim for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Sam. It's been awesome.
Don't forget to check out the links below to LMS Thinking and subscribe and hit the notification bell too. See you next time.